Hi, welcome to my second video showing 10 cards I've made using simple watercolor painting to enhance stamped or punched images. Today is all about flowers. I used medium-sized flower and leaf outline stamps and punches and inexpensive watercolor paints and papers. Most of the stamps and cardstock I use are from Stampin' Up! Like my first video, this is not a step-by-step tutorial. I'm showing my finished cards with a brief explanation. So let's get started. These first two cards have 3 flowers, all of the same color. And I did do some shading, different colors on the flower. If you do the lighter color first and let it dry, then you can add a darker color. And I used a totally different color for the center of these. And just some of the extra things I did on the card were using a sponge dauber to sponge some ink around the outside edges, using a bone folder to distress the edges, using a gold marker to add some little dots around the flowers, and a clear Stardust gel ink pen to add a little sparkle there. All right, moving along to the second set of cards. A different stamp. This time I used a stamp to add the little dots around the cards. The center flower is cut out and popped up with dimensionals. Same on this one. I like to add that little extra dimension to the cards. Moving along to another set here. Instead of using all the same color flowers, we varied it up on these cards. I'll show you what it looks like before I punched out the cards or flowers. Did some red, orange, and yellow. And you want to use StazOn ink for stamping your flowers. Otherwise, it will start bleeding into the watercolor like this one did. And maybe you want a thicker line like that, but I'll show you the difference. There's some great videos out there for watercolor tips and techniques. I've only been doing watercolor painting for about 3 months, and I've been stamping cards for many years. For this one, the center flower, I wanted it something different than the other two, so I used a black permanent marker just to add that little outline around the flower. And for the leaves, I punched them out. Those are not watercolored on this card. And then for some dimension, I creased and pinched the center of the leaves, and that makes them stand out a little bit. I didn't even need dimensionals on this card. Just bent the petals up a little bit and folded and creased the leaves. I think this card is my favorite. I just like those 3 purple flowers. I'll show you. When I painted those, it's just fun to try mixing your colors, get different shades. That's what the lid of your watercolors is for here. You can just mix those paints and try different colors. These were punched out. This one's a little bit different layout. I have to give credit to my friend Wendy. She came over to stamp with me and did a card with a similar layout to this. So it's got the front of the card cut here, and then the image stamped in the inside of the card, and washi tape added. Okay, the last 2 cards. I'll just show you one first here. This has 3 different color flowers. Ribbon along the side. Again, the front is cut and the saying is stamped on the inside of the card. And buttons are added to the center of the flowers for something different. And then the last card is a little different. I did not stamp the butterfly or the flowers. I simply punched them out after I had watercolored them. And the other difference in this card is that I had more than one color in the flowers. So I tried some mixing of the paints and doing them side by side. If you do wet on wet technique, it's fun to see the colors mix a little bit. And I used my die cut to cut the oval and a paper piercer to make little holes around there. But if you don't have that, just use what you have. Added some little pearls there. The center of the flowers popped up with dimensionals. Well, thank you for watching, and feel free to leave me a comment or a question below. And I hope that you have lots of fun creating your own cards.